And Clark's impact on the growth of women's sports continues to be felt all around the country. Jennifer Hoff from our sister station in Minneapolis introduces us to a new sports bar in Minnesota dedicated solely to women's sports.
Yes, very.
Jillian Hiscock is so excited.
Nonstop.
So too is everyone else.
See, this is what we're doing right now. We're figuring out menu prices and managing interviews. Thank you, Edward. I'll call you back.
A bar of their own will open its doors Friday. The first women's sports bar in Minnesota, Hiscock only envisioned last year.
These people that are going to be frequenting this place have been looking for something like this to exist for years. That I think is what is really, we're set up in the right time and place as well.
The explosion of women's sports makes sense, in part due to the Iowa Hawkeyes sharpshooter Caitlin Clark setting shooting records and selling out arenas.
Caitlin Clark is an example of what happens when there is investment in women's sport.
U of M professor Dunya Atanovic studies how sports impacts girls and women at the school's Tucker Center.
Change is not always linear, right? Just because we see progress maybe in some areas, that doesn't mean that change is altogether happening. But it's important to note that there is interest in women's sport across demographic categories.
Women's major sports revenue should reach more than $1 billion this year, 3 times what it was 3 years ago, proving it's profitable, but still largely inaccessible.
We have to have every streaming service under the sun because that's where the games are currently being played, which is what makes it so hard to be a casual women's sports fan, is that most people aren't going to do that.
You can count on Hiscock to help create more than a moment, but a movement.
I mean, I think it's absolutely acknowledging like where we've come, but not settling for where we're at.
That is so cool.
Even up north, she's making all that noise.
Well, and a couple weeks ago, they played out in Maryland, and our sister station from DC was there, and most of the girls, there was a ton of young girls there, and they're all there for Caitlin Clark. They didn't care about Maryland. They just cared that she was there.
And then they're playing in the Big Ten. I'm not sure if it's the Big Ten tournament, I believe, in Minneapolis here soon, which they call that Carver North when they play up there. So I'm not surprised.
All right.